Testing. Shalom, shalom. Sounds good on my end. It's good.
Alright. Shalom.
Shalom.
Alright, with the Hebrew Israelites of GMS, Louisiana, of the Lafayette camp. Alright, coming back once again with another live sit-down lesson. Alright, but as always, before we get started, we want to give all praise and glory to
Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem HaKadosh.
double honors to our apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, as well as teach well, and also peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.
Shalom, mighty shalom.
All right. And as you can see from the title, all right, another episode of GMS Lafayette, Louisiana, going in the news. Okay, going into various articles and various current events of things happening around the country, America, Babylon the Great, as well as around the world. Okay, to ultimately link these things to Bible prophecy. Okay, and to warn the sheep of the things coming down the pipe. All right, as we go forward to the remainder of 2024, going into 2025, ultimately until Yahushua comes back. Okay, we link the things going on around the world to Bible prophecy, to warn the sheep. Okay, to build up the elect on their most holy faith. All right, because pretty much we're at the end of Esau's world. Okay, we're at the end of Esau's world. We know Esau's going to come down with great wrath because he knows that he only has but a short time left to rule in this world. Okay, and so at the end, all right, a lot of things prophetically would have to happen in these end times leading up to when our Lord Savior Yahushua comes back. You see? And us starting with our apostles of Great Millstone and our elders and bishops on down to the least of us. Okay, it's our job and our duty to speak of these things. Okay? Brother, any quick precept?
I got a quick one. Did you have it? This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, verse 8, in the NLT. And it reads, "The ancient prophets who preceded you and me spoke against many nations, always warning of war, disaster, and disease."
Right, so the prophets that have came before our time, right, our forefathers, always prophesied against many kingdoms, many nations, many empires of what? As it read, wars, pestilences, diseases, okay, confusion, all these things, all right, and likewise here in these days as well, as the scripture speaks about that which is then is now. Okay, so us starting with our apostles of Great Millstone and elders and bishops down to the least of us, all right, we prophesied throughout the four corners of the earth against various kingdoms of the heathen, all right, various regions of the earth, of wars, pestilences, the sword, confusion, okay, chaos, all these different things, all right, to speak the end into existence, just as our forefathers in the scriptures, okay.
I got a quick one right here. This is Jeremiah 28 and 8. It says the prophets that
You just read it.
you did.
You read it,
I read it in the NLT, but you can read it though, huh?
Yeah.
KJV.
This is
I
Jeremiah.
got a word.
Jeremiah again 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And like the brother was saying, basically the prophets are back here again today, doing the same things that they were doing. Because your spirit, is going to be going to come back on the earth and what? you're gonna be in your same lot again. The things your spirit carries on. Like people in the world say, you got an old soul, an old spirit. Well, those spirits, you know, uh, they go back to the things that they're attracted to, man. The things that, like the brother always says, the things that's within you, being reawakened. And the prophets are being reawakening back into their lots, prophesying in these last days. All right, that's pretty much it.
I got a word. It's the word geopolitics, and I just searched it up on Google. And you go down a couple notches, and there's an element that says, "What is geopolitics?" All right, and there's another element that says geopolitics defined, and it says geopolitics look at a particular use of power, how countries and other groups compete to control these entities within the international community. It says geopolitics are politics, especially international relations, as influenced by geographical factors. Yeah, just backing brothers up.
Right. And we, the prophets and teachers and the men of the Lord, starting with our apostles and elders and down to the least of us, we speak on geopolitics. We speak on the things happening internationally. We speak on how, okay, America, NATO, and the EU is being divided up and broken up more and more each day. Okay, as a matter of fact, as of recently, you had Sweden just officially joined NATO. Okay, putting basically a NATO right into Russia's front yard. Okay. Yeah, putting a member of NATO right into Russia's front yard. And of course, Vladimir Putin, he's pissed off because of that. All right. And we know ultimately war is going to rage due to NATO making that move. Okay, adding Sweden to its roster. Okay, and I'll pass on down to Lisa. But we speak about wars. We speak about how the beast system, the Lord is getting ready to break up the beast system, America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, to ultimately weaken out America and isolate America, so that what? So that countries like Russia and China and other countries that's aligned with Russia and China can ultimately gang up on this place and shoot missiles against this place and put an end to this place to fulfill the will of the Lord. You know.
What was it on that definition?
All right. We have for us to bring up the Canadian bill article. All right. So we could pretty much go into a few articles. All right. Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. You got it, right?
It says Canadian bill will remove religion.
Tell them where you read.
And just mind the words too.
Yeah.
Purpose of
It says the Christian Post. It says Canadian bill will remove religious exemption from hate speech law. Critics warn, and it goes on to say lawmakers in Canada are considering legislation which, if passed, could criminalize the act of quoting scriptures in defense of biblical marriage, sexuality, and other Christian views.
Right. So up there in Canada, all right, as you read, they're considering to basically pass a law that would criminalize a person for quoting Bible scriptures, okay, concerning biblical marriage. What is biblical marriage? Between a man and a woman. That's it. Okay. Quoting scriptures in regards to proper sexuality. That a man is supposed to have sex with a woman, and vice versa, and nothing else. Okay. As well as other, so-called Christian views, as the article says. All right. Let me see. You can continue reading on.
Okay. All right. It continues to say, All right. It says again, the proposal, Bill C-367, currently under review in the House of Commons, would repeal religious exemption in section 319 of the Canadian Criminal Code, which critics say could open up Christians and other religious groups to hate speech charges over any comment or criticisms of the alphabet movement.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. So basically, they're using the the alphabet group as a means to go forward with this bill. And basically, if you up there in Canada, right, as this article is going into, basically, if you make any form of speech against the alphabet movement, especially if your speech is rooted in the teaching of the Bible, then you could basically be criminalized because of that. Basically, essentially, they're trying to pass a law to make the Bible considered hate speech. Okay, and again, Canada is one of the countries that's a part of NATO. Okay, so if they're looking at passing this particular law up there in Canada, then you already know that these same set of laws are going to be passed across America, Babylon the Great, as well as the rest of the countries throughout the beast system. Okay, the UK, France, Germany, Spain, all right, so on and so forth. And so basically, Esau is getting ready to make a move to make the Bible, the teachings of the Bible, considered hate speech. Okay, and of course, you already know Esau primarily is getting ready to pass this law to target the Israelites. Okay, the Israelites. Okay, these the different camps that go out on the highways and the byways week in and week out on the front lines. Okay, preaching the word, telling our people to come back to their nationality as Israelites. Okay, because where the hell do you see Christians out publicly week in and week out quoting Bible scriptures, or teaching the Bible out in public week in and week out on fire? All right, you don't see that. I mean, you have a few Christian individuals here and there that so say do a street ministry or whatever. A few of them here and there on YouTube and social media and whatnot. But it's mostly the Israelites that's on the streets week in and week out teaching the Bible. You see, so this is primarily targeted to the Israelites. You want to see something?
Yeah, we're the true Christians.
Yeah,
we're the true followers of Yahushua and Mashiach. In order to be a follower of Yahushua, you have to be an Israelite. That's who his blood was drawn for. All right, was given for the nation of Israel. All right, the hopeful elect. So I have a quick one, brother, if you don't mind. All right, this is Isaiah 29 and 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed.
Hey, and that's why Esau is passing these types of legislation, because he's being brought to naught. Okay, he's being exposed, his skirt is being lifted up, Esau is being made bare. So now he wants to pass particular laws to basically criminalize anybody, okay, that's basically exposing them and making them bare, especially coming out of the scriptures with it. You see, but you got it up.
Isaiah 29 and 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off.
Yeah, the Lord is getting ready to cut this devil off. Right, he's getting ready to cut his rulership short. He's getting ready to cut his NWO plan short. All right, cut his sword short. All right, cut down his whole entire rulership short. All right, to establish the kingdom. But you got it.
Verse 21, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught.
Hey, and Esau is getting ready to make the men of the Lord offenders for the words of these scriptures. Okay, by doing what? Laying snares. And that Canada bill C-367 is one of Esau's snares. Okay, one of Esau's many snares that he's getting ready to come with down the line, because we also know that Esau's going to use AI to, criminalize anybody that has biblical views and, that have particular beliefs against his agendas and whatnot. Okay, he's going to use his mainstream news media as a snare as well. All right, you know. What's his name?
I got
Me too.
Okay.
I'll go after you.
This is Revelations chapter 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Those two horns representing the two horns and the Democrats, all right, and their policies and the things that they pass, all right. So as the brother was saying, Canada, Europe, those particular places, they usually test run those places, and then they bring those policies to America, all right. So they're gonna follow right behind them, all right. But that's pretty much it on that one.
I got a quick one because, as the brother said, one of Esau's many snares or one of Esau's many devices. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Yeah, because I can say I had a little bit more, but it ties right into what you
Okay, you got it, bro.
Verse 12, and he says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, which is America, Babylon today, all right, and the laws that he promotes. You can go ahead, brother, into yours, because it ties, right into it, man. His policies, him framing mischief by law, so yeah.
And it says, Micah 2:1, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Hey, just backing you brothers up, and when you go into that word license, it basically goes into to do something legally that without it will be legal. To do something legally that without it would be illegal, meaning that you're doing something illegal. If you didn't have that license, what you're doing would be illegal. But it's legal because you have the license, basically. And that's how the system is set up. It's ran upon those things, even down to the unrighteous decrees, man, to make a man an offender for a word. Have we become your enemy because we told you the truth of the scriptures? Your nationality according to the Bible, geopolitics like the brother went into, all right? The king's heart is in the hands of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So ultimately, the Lord is passing down these decrees to send those scourges for amendment, right? Scourges for amendment to the society, man. Amendment means to change, to break this city of confusion down, man. All right? But it's going to come upon a time where we're going to get persecuted for these words. And the brother is illustrating how this is a foreshadow of what's to come via prophecy, man. The scriptures say, all right, I saw the souls of those that were beheaded for the testimony, man. All right? So some of us will be martyrs. Some of us will ultimately not be martyrs. The scriptures say some of you shall not taste death. But either situation, we're going to overcome it if we be of the elect. We're going to do the same thing as Yahushua did. We're going to overcome these things. But our bidding is to bid unto the marriage via the gift of prophecy. In the news, these different topics, because they're coming up. But you got it out.
One of y'all brothers give me First Maccabees, the first chapter, and start at 41.
And Baba Kushar, can I read Isaiah 29 and 20 in the NLT, verse through 21? Isaiah 29 and 20 through 21 in the NLT, it says, the scoffer will be gone, the arrogant will disappear, and those who plot evil will be killed. It says, those who convict the innocent by their false testimony. Those who convict the innocent by their false testimony, the accuser of our brethren. It says, those who convict the innocent by their false testimony will disappear. A similar fate awaits those who use trickery to pervert justice and who tell lies to destroy the innocent.
Yeah, and that's what Esau's all about. Okay, using trickery to basically demonize those that speak the truth. Okay, using false propaganda. In this time, due to Esau being so superior in technology, Esau's going to go as far as using his AI to demonize those that preach the truth. Okay, using deep fakes, putting brothers' faces on certain digital bodies, making it look like they're saying certain things. Okay, all to demonize them and to justify criminalizing them. Okay, it's all part of Esau's trickery. But as the brother just read, okay, all the Lord will cut all that stuff off. All right, he'll cut off Esau's trickery and cut off Esau as a whole. You know.
You want to Maccabees what again?
You can read. You can start from 41, and you can read down to 50. You can pretty much just kind of run through it. First Maccabees 1.
Okay. All right. Say 40.
41. Another 41.
All right. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
And all should be one people. Of course, for you brothers that's familiar with the Maccabees, all right, during the time of the Greeks, specifically during the time of Antiochus, okay, Antiochus Epiphanes attempted to establish a one world system of that time, okay, where he's going around Hellenizing our forefathers, forcing them to forsake our laws, okay, forsake the laws of the scriptures and to follow the ways of the Greeks, okay, be complete freaks and heathen, be uncircumcised, all right, which is going to go into it, all right, we'll go ahead.
Verse 42, it says, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
Right. So you even had a lot of our forefathers that bowed the knee to Antiochus' system, all right, and forsook the laws of our forefathers, the laws of Yahweh Shema Shai, okay, and willingly, Hellenized themselves, following the ways of Antiochus Epiphanes.
Made themselves Gentiles.
Yep.
All right. It says, for the king had sent letters by the messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary of holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels and idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. And they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable, and with all manner of uncleanness and profanation.
Right. So they even wanted us to defile our children. Okay. They even wanted us, our forefathers, to take the agendas of Esau, Edom at this time, and force it upon our children. Okay, just like we see Esau pushing certain agendas on the children today. The alphabet agenda. Okay, all types of perverseness and wickedness. All right, in the school system. having these different you know,
Feminine.
what you say?
Feminine.
Yeah, these effeminate, these flip floppers. Okay, coming into the classrooms as guest speakers. Reading to the children. Okay, looking like complete freaks. All right, he saw us pushing these agendas on the children just as he was doing during this time. But you got it. I'll continue on.
Con, it says, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
50.
And and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
Right. So that was a draconian measure at that time. So basically, as it's going into Antiochus Epiphanes, set to attempted to establish a one world system of this time, a one world order. Okay, persuading the different nations, including our forefathers, to leave off from our native customs, which is the law, statutes, commandments. Okay, and become Hellenized and become like Gentiles, and even raising up our children in these same matters, and at the same time, basically making it illegal to express our religious views. Keeping the Sabbath, being circumcised, okay, keeping our high holy days, okay, reading the law, all right, and it even got to the point to where, as it went into in verse 50, he basically commanded that whosoever would not follow the ways of the Greeks and lead from the laws of their forefathers, that they should die, and that was a draconian measure, okay, basically criminalizing people who expressed their religious views that was against the Greeks' way of life, okay, and justifying putting them to death. All right. But now from there, can you jump down to verse 54?
Hey, Brother Prashad, just to back up your point real quick, this is Revelation 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right. And it's going into the revival of the ancient Greco-Roman system, which is fulfilled today here in America, as well as the NATO and the EU. Okay, they set themselves up according to the image of the previous beast, which is what? Ancient Rome. All right, and nowadays, okay, through technology, Esau getting ready to try to establish an NWO system. All right, to where he's going to basically push forth or pass draconian laws, draconian measures, unrighteous decrees, to where whosoever would not conform to this NWO system and all of its agendas, as well as say the Quran, that they should be killed. All right, by law. All right, killed in the sense of being physically put to death. All right, and as well, that word killed, as we always bring out, also goes into separation. Okay, so if this devil doesn't actually, put you to death for not bowing the knee to this system, then he's going to pass laws to have you separated from this system. To where you won't be able to participate among society unless you bow the knee and take that Karakma. All right, and we see an example of this right here in the Maccabees during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. You see, you got some more on that.
And that was it. I just wanted to make that point.
All right, you can read 54.
Con. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and 54. Now the 15th day of the month Casalú in the 140 and 50th year, they set up an abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altar all throughout the cities of Judah on every side,
All right.
and burnt incense at, at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces of the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire.
All right.
And whosoever was found with any book of the testament of, if any commandment to the law, the king's commandment,
Read 57 again.
con, and whosoever was found with any the book of the testament of, if any commandment,
Or if any consented,
Oh, committed?
consented,
Consi-
or if any consented, go ahead.
to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put them to death.
Right. So as Antiochus was going forward with this one world agenda, okay, what the brother just read from verse 54 on down, that was basically their version of banning the Bible of that time. You see, wherever they will find the scrolls of the law and the prophets and the psalms and whatnot, okay, they will basically pass legislation to burn it with fire. So that was their version of banning the Bible of that time. And so this bill that we just read of that's getting ready to be passed in Canada, Bill C-367, all right, this bill right here is nothing new under the sun because Esau attempted something like that during the time of the Maccabees, during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, basically making it illegal for, okay, us in particular, Israelites, to express our, so-called religious beliefs, sticking to the laws and the commandments of the scriptures, sticking to the ways of Yahweh Shema Shai, all right? So that, at this time, that was likened unto Esau making a man an offender for a word during this time, okay? And so the fact that Canada is getting ready to pass this bill, all right, this is really nothing new under the sun. That which is then is now. Okay? Was anything?
I got one.
Okay, you got it.
This is Amos chapter 5, verse 10, starting in the NLT. It says, how you hate honest judges, how you hate honest judges, how you despise people who tell the truth. You trample the poor, stealing their grain through taxes and unfair rent. Therefore, though you build beautiful stone houses, you will never live in them. Though you plant lush vineyards, you will never drink wine from them. For I know the vast number of your sins and the depth of your rebellions. You oppress good people by taking bribes and deprive the poor of justice in the courts.
Yeah. And this bill by Canada, that's literally taking away people's rights, people's justice. Okay, that's basically taking away their First Amendment rights. The freedom to express, their religious beliefs and whatnot. Okay, and as the brother, read in that Amos 5, they hated him that rebuketh in the gate. Okay, the Esau, he hates the men of the Lord, and he hates, okay, us coming out with the scriptures, all right, singing a new song and prophesying against his beast system and his image and the charagma. Okay, so he's going to criminalize, okay, the men of the Lord who are simply just preaching the word. Okay, because we believe, a man should be a man and a woman should be a woman and be submissive and cooperative. Because we believe that marriage is only between a man and a woman and that's it. All right, because we believe in a dietary law and being righteous. All right, Esau is going to criminalize the men of the Lord for having those types of views because all those things go against his NWO system. You see? Was that anymore?
I got one quick one.
All right.
This is John 15 and 19. It says, if you were of the world would love you as its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. So, the scriptures tell us that there's no knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord in the land. So people are going about their own will, their own free will, that do as thou wilt spirit. So with that being said, anytime that you come up with the scriptures and it goes against their beliefs or their feelings, you're gonna get some backlash. You're gonna get criticism. You're gonna get true hate from them, man. And so yeah.
All right, just backing you up. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Fine. So because of the true understanding of good and evil, the true understanding of good is not promoted in earth. So what the hearts of men, all right, and the people are to fulfill their evil thoughts, man. There's no judgment for what they're doing. So they continue in their wickedness, and they wax worse and worse over time. You know, that's it on that.
Yeah. When y'all bros get the next article, this one right here.
Okay, I'll get that. All right, this is an article from naturalnews.com entitled "Something Huge Planned for New York in the Days Ahead as They Normalize Police State Control over the People and Bring in Re-Education Camps for Firefighters Expressing Their Opinions."
Yeah. You, you can read the first paragraph.
And it reads on, it says, while according to New York Governor Kathy Hochul, the hundreds of New York National Guard members that she'll be sending into the New York subway systems will be to help fight crime in that crime-ridden city as of late, as this story over at Defiant America reports. There are also alarming rumors that the H people, I'll just say that, all right, that the H people, the H group, is targeting the subways there. Hence the numbers of thousands of troops, 1,000+ troops there unveiling. Plus, New York has had an alarming amount of crime in their subway systems there for several years now.
Right. So, due to the recent uh, splurge or uptick in crime in New York City over the past few months or whatnot, okay, now this particular governor, Kathy Hochul, however you pronounce her last name, has now deployed, okay, thousands of National Guard troops in throughout New York City to guard the subway system. Okay, and now here it is. Over the past few months, we've seen hundreds and thousands of migrants, okay, crossing the border, of course, and being sent to major cities around the country. New York City being a prime city, all right. And due to that, all right, we've been seeing what, an uptick in crime, uptick in violence, robberies, whatnot. Okay, basically, damn near turning New York City into a third world country. And so now, what is the response to all of this crime by Governor Hochul or Huchul, however you pronounce the name, of New York? All right, let's send the National Guard to guard the subways of New York. Okay, that's the response to that. And you can already see, those of us that's in the spirit, that's in the know. Okay, we could already see that something like this was going to happen sooner or later down the pipe. Okay, with all this crime being done, with all these migrants coming into the country, okay, Esau, okay, and this is basically like a small form of martial law to a certain extent, okay, guarding the subways, because you got to think about it. All right, what's the main purpose of the subway? To allow people to travel, to allow people to go to and fro, okay. And real quick, when y'all bros get second as 15.
I was holding that, but I got another one too.
All right.
Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, most the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
Right. And martial law is a part of Esau's great wrath. And this decree by the governor of New York, all right, sending thousands of National Guard troops to guard the subways is a small portion of Esau's great wrath. Okay,
That's right.
It's a form of Esau bringing forth his left hand peace and safety. Okay, in reaction to all the chaos that's been happening in New York as of recently, due to all those migrants, okay, crossing the border and being sent to these different major cities. All right, that's one small form of Esau's peace and safety. And of course, we know it's going to ultimately escalate to, Esau implementing okay, a digital ID system, all right? Because as it also alluded to in that article, the the governor also suspects the H people, as a brother said, the H people, okay, to perform a possible domestic attack in the near future, okay, up there in New York. All right. And so, with all these different people crossing the border and enter into the United States illegally, along with a possible domestic attack by certain particular groups,
Yeah.
okay, what is that all going to lead to? Esau having to use this technology to implement a digital ID system so that they know, okay, whenever certain events pop up, they'll know, who's who, what's what, who has what intent, who has, this intent, whatever, okay, and that's going to come as a form of peace and safety, all right, and we know ultimately it's all going to lead to the Quran, you know. You want to say something?
You got it.
Okay. You can read Second Ezra 15 and verse 17.
Can I start from verse 14?
Okay.
Second Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their and if I could just say, it's just reiterating that Revelation 12 and 12. All right? The devil has come down onto you with great wrath. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Ultimately, the Lord is setting the scene for these different events to happen. Stack on top of stack on top of stack. All right? Simultaneously, you're going to have what? Along with it brewing up in the Middle East, you got these articles the brothers bringing out. These different decrees are being passed. It's changing the society that we're actually living in, and it's bigger than just what we're seeing over there across the four corners of the Middle East. All right, it's bigger than these little events that's going on here in America. The overall objective is prophecy, the will of the Lord, and that's the mindset of the elect. We're looking for these things to happen so it can usher in Yahushua, which ushers in our deliverance in the kingdom of heaven. And it won't come without these different events on the planet Earth. But the Lord is saying, woe to you, because guess what? You have a villain in this movie, and you also have a hero. All right? That villain is coming down with his master agenda, which is ultimately going to be foiled by the hero, Yahushua, Isaiah 9 and 6. Second Ezra 15 and 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands.
Right. And what does that sound like? Okay. Civil unrest. All right. Civil war. You know, infightings, civil unrest. Okay. Divisions at an all-time high. People at each other's throats, all because of what different people believe and what people different people think. Okay, and who's with what agenda, who's not with what agenda.
Ooh, yes.
Okay, pretty much it all. Second Ezra 15 verse 15. It all sounds like civil unrest and civil war. Okay, and we definitely see that coming down the pipe, possibly in 2024. Okay, going forward to the election this year. You know, which pretty much looking like Trump and Biden are going to be the final candidates of this upcoming election, just as it was in the previous election. All right, and there's all types of controversy surrounding this year's election. Just as it was in the previous election as well, but this time is even bigger. Okay, and pretty much, all right, Biden, who's a Democrat, of course, we know. All right, it's looking like through a spiritual lens, it's looking like the majority of Biden supporters most likely is going to be a lot of these migrants that's coming to the country. Okay, a lot of these migrants, okay, coming into the country.
I got a quick one too.
God, bigging up this guy Biden, all because he's allowing them to come into the country and basically live better than an average American. All right, and then on the flip side, you got of course Trump running, and who's backing him? A lot of these two-time losing Edomites, these patriotic red-blooded Edomites, that's still in that spirit to make America, you know what again, okay, and pretty much regardless of who wins the election at the end of the year, if they even have an election period, but regardless of who wins the election at the end of this year in November, all right, it's looking like civil unrest and civil war is going to break out. Okay, you got it.
Okay, this is Matthew 10:35, red letters, Yahushua speaking. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Speaking about division, there's a lot of division in the household with the truth going out. There's a lot of division across America, Babylon, and Great because of this truth going out. And there's a lot of division going on around the world because this truth is going out. And Yahushua laid out some of those divisions. Divisions between the father and the son, the mother and the daughter, the father-in-law against the son-in-law, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, so on and so forth.
And anybody in between those categories.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so this truth, although this truth brings forth a lot of unity, primarily unity between the elect, okay, the tabernacle of David. Anybody else outside of this truth brings forth division.
I got one right here. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 24. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. So friends and enemies. So friends shall fight like enemies. Basically, the people that your next door neighbor that you account as your, as your friend, in that day they're gonna be fighting like enemies, man. They're gonna be fighting for food, resources, different things like that. Gas, water, all those things are gonna be essential on that day, and they're gonna be fighting against one another, for those particular things. All right, they may even be fighting for, like the brother was going into political views or whatnot. So you're gonna have people that's gonna be divided on all kind of different topics, man. Especially in these last days.
Yeah. And especially these different bills that are going to be passed in the legislation. That's going to create that civil pandemonium, that civil disorder. All right, that hate speech. Okay. These don't say hey bills. All right. These different decrees. The concealed carry decree. All right. These different decrees on the planet Earth are going to heat this place up, man. Turn the volume up in this place, man. It's going to go from off of the paper, then it's going to come into effect. These different bills and decrees, they're coming into law, and then it affects the society. Then people go out and do it. All right? So these up and coming months are going to be very, very prophetic. All right? Very, very prophetic.
You still in 2nd Ezra 15?
Kind of.
You can continue where we stopped off at.
All right, this is 2nd Ezra 15, and I start back in.
Stop. Yeah,
I start at 15. 2nd Ezra 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, as swords in their hands.
Right. We know the modern day sword is the gun. Okay, firearms. Whether they be registered, unregistered.
At this point, it don't matter.
Yeah,
in Babylon.
3D printed guns, 3D printed magazines. You name it. Okay, people are going to be turning their swords against one another. For various reasons. Okay, but you got it up.
Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Right. So it's gonna be so much infighting and civil unrest and civil war going on in this country that people aren't even gonna have regard for their leaders and their governors and even the president.
That's right.
Okay, regardless of whoever wins between Biden or Trump, which right now is looking like Trump most likely is going to get back in office. But hey, even if he gets back in office, all right, guess what? As we just read in prophecy, it's still going to be sedition against him. Okay, from a lot of these Democrats and these liberals and whatnot. Okay, but regardless, hey, there's going to be civil unrest, political turmoil, all right, divisions on all sides. Okay, and people literally gunning for each other.
Yeah.
All right.
And we see how ultimately the Lord has set the tone for this society, its pride to be brought low. And we see the lack of, basically the lack of, what I'm looking for is respect for authorities going on. What happened to that judge, with that guy that jumped and bulldozed that judge, man? All right? These different decrees that Esau, Edom is passing, the people aren't pleased with this, man. This is a kingdom divided. So there's going to be an uproar based on these different unrighteous decrees that you're passing, man. All right? And when it trickles down, it's going to lead to all out civil pandemonium, civil unrest that the brother you're going into. The word civil means citizen. That can mean anybody versus anybody. You stop on the side of the road, you get it on, all right? That's a part of this prophecy, man. All right? You're not going to regard anything. Forget about the law. Forget about 911. Forget about sheriff. This is the law. This situation where we're in right now, whoever's the better person out of this is going to get the outcome in that day, man. You got it, brother.
I got one. This is 2nd Esdras 13 and 31. And one shall undertake to fight against another, and one city against another, one place against another, one people against another.
You started 29, Baba Bashar.
You said 29?
Baba Bashar.
1 second. This is 2nd Esdras 13 and 29. And it says, Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
That's right. The Lord said he'd come to set fire upon the earth. And where would he be if it already be kindled? So when the Lord comes back, the earth is going to be on fire. These different events, these different articles the brother's bringing out, that's fire. That's prophecy, man. That's showing you that this place is ablaze and it's ready to erupt, man, to implode. You got it, brother.
It says, One shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another.
And I will say Egyptian against Egyptian. All right? The Lord said, this kingdom divided, any kingdom divided is brought to desolation. Any house divided is brought to desolation. If you got a team of people and y'all trying to get somewhere to a destination and a goal, and it's 6 people and 3 of them say, I want to go this way, the other 3 say, I want to go that way, the house is divided. All right? It's going to be brought to desolation. That's like to America. The rulers thereof, they're being brought low. But how are they being brought low? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, through this testimony, Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets before me and before the of old have prophesied against many kingdoms, leading up until this point against the greatest kingdom of them all, quote unquote. And the bigger they are, the harder they fall. You got it out.
It says, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. So what the brother was saying, even he was saying, speaking about earlier about that Jake had jumped up against that judge.
Yeah. Just no respect for higher power and authority.
Yeah. And a lot of those Jakes are in the prison systems. When all hell break loose and nobody's there to protect those prison systems from being able to be, overtaken by these, these different riots and different things, they're gonna escape and they're gonna go for them judges and all those people. You got some, you have some Jake that's locked up for child support and all kind of other things. Yeah, all kind of things, man. And when they get out, they're gonna express their vent, their anger against those people, man.
Beautiful, bro. This is Isaiah 10 and 1 in the NLT backing you up. It says, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. Like the scriptures say, make a man an offender for a word. All right, that's unfair, man. All right, but who are the unjust judges of the earth? These elites, international banking families, and their agents. We see some of their agents, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates. Those are the small fish. There's no. I'll just say
Gates in hell.
Yeah,
You can say that.
these different agents of the international banking families, man. All right, they operate on their behalf, and ultimately it says Isaiah 10:1, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people. They prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. Just backing you up.
All right, so yeah, then they take advantage of people, by the different decrees, man. All right, by what trying to rule over the people with their dictatorship, man. All right, and we know that they're trying to implement these different things by their different executive orders that they have set in place, man. All right, for the public. All right.
Brother, I got a banger. This is Isaiah 10. I'm gonna jump down, and this is likened onto America and this kingdom, man. All right, the Lord likens it onto Assyria. All right, and we call it ultimately spiritual Babylon. All right, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, America. Isaiah 10:5. It says, "What sorrow awaits Assyria, the rod of my anger. I use it as a club to express my anger." And we're seeing how the Lord is ultimately using these different decrees to express his anger. The Lord is not pleased with this society. That's why you see the Lord using these different kings of the earth, all right, to ultimately issue these different decrees to notify us and say, okay, well, that's a part of prophecy. That's a sign to say Yahweh Shai is getting closer and closer to turning up. Along with the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai being upon the apostles and the elders, Apostle Tahar coined this year, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. It says, Isaiah 10:6 in the NLT, I am sending Assyria against a godless nation, against a people with whom I am angry. That's the nation of Israel. It says, Assyria will plunder them, trampling them like dirt beneath its feet. But the king of Assyria will not understand that he is my tool. But the king of Assyria will not understand that he is my tool. His mind does not work that way. His plan is simply to destroy, to cut down nation after nation. And that's ultimately how the Lord uses Esau, Edom. The scriptures say that the seed and the deceiver are his. So the Lord uses Esau, Edom to be that cruel Lord, to issue these decrees and enforce them on you, so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes, to show forth prophecy and ultimately to show forth the strength of Yahweh Shem Shai. You got it, right?
We can go back to 2 Ezra 15.
Okay.
I still want to make a few points in this chapter.
Okay, this is 2 Ezra 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
Right. And, alluding back to the article we read earlier, right, about the governor of New York sending National Guard troops to guard the subways, okay, pretty much going forward, all right, people, whenever they go to take the subway, they're not going to be able to get on that subway unless they go through whatever National Guard checkpoint that's going to be within the station.
Yeah. All
right, and of course you already know what are those soldiers going to be checking for, to see if people have weapons. All right, and then ultimately it's gonna escalate to checking people's intents. What do you believe in? What do you believe in? Okay, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? All right, it's gonna get to that level.
Yeah.
All right, and people are going to be desiring to, still use the subway to travel and go to and fro, go to work or go home. But guess what? As it's just read, they won't be able to. okay? Because there's going to be checkpoints, uh, on certain paths, in subway stations that people use to go to and fro. You see?
Yep. And we see they're gonna implement that SB 5427, and anything you say can and will be held against you, including your expressions. All right. So this is and even just backing the brother up, it tells you, and I believe second is 16, a man shall desire to hear another man's voice, roughly paraphrasing. All right, that's coming in these times. So second Ezra 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Right. And all the major cities across this country, all right, and all the cities across Babylon, as a whole, but especially the major cities, New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Houston,
Yeah.
all right. Hey, a lot of these major cities here, Las Vegas as well.
Police state.
Yep, yep. And a lot of these cities been proud as hell, okay, since the so-called birth of this country. Especially New York City, for example. But guess what? The Lord said because of the pride of all these cities and all the wickedness that go on in these cities, especially by our people, okay, they're going to be broken down. All right, they shall be troubled, as it said. All right, hey, and the Lord is going to use a lot of these migrants to trouble a lot of these cities. But due to the uptick in crime and robberies and violence, okay, and whatnot, and not to mention a lot of these major cities are defunding their police force. Okay, they have a shortage of policemen in these major cities. So all in all together, all these things are leading up to a lot of these cities across Babylon being troubled and being broken down and destroyed. Okay, internally, you see. But you can read 19.
Verse 19, 2nd Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
And a lot of these migrants are going to play a major part in fulfilling this prophecy. Invading people's houses, destroying their goods, okay, plundering them for food and water and essentials and medicine and things like that. Okay, these migrants are going to play a major part in fulfilling this prophecy. And of course, the average everyday American as well. These average Americans that's catching hell financially, behind on their rent, facing homelessness, okay, getting ready to lose their jobs. A lot of these natural born citizens of America, they're gonna snap as well when they see all of their little freedoms and rights get taken away from them. Okay, but it's especially going to be those migrants is going to be doing these things, okay? Because you got to consider a lot of these migrants that's coming from across the border, they're coming from so-called third world countries that's gang ridden, crime ridden, where pretty much everything goes. Okay, so they're used to being in environments where a lot of crime is taking place, a lot of lawlessness is taking place. So it's going to be nothing for them to do all those things here in Babylon the Great, especially considering how these cities are becoming weaker and weaker every day. The governors and the mayors of these cities are being more weakened and effeminized and whatnot. The police force is decreasing all across Babylon. So, hey, this place is going to turn to a third world country, okay, easily, all right, and quickly, you know.
Right.
I got one quick one. This is Job 18 and 11. It says, terror shall make him afraid.
Very good.
Yeah.
It says, terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. So, it's going to make every man's afraid, man, because at every turn you have danger. You have your citizens that are, your American citizens that are creating doing lawless acts. Then you have, the migrants, and then you can have the military, man. All right. Not to mention wild beasts, changing their places. I just seen a post last night of more bobcats have been viewed in the areas of Louisiana, man. All right, in residential areas. So you have all of these things that are going to be going on that are going to be driving men to their feet, man.
And
All
on
right.
top of that, simultaneously, the famine of the word. The Lord says it's going to be not a famine of bread, but a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Shah. So it's going to be evil times are ahead, man. That's why the brothers going into these looming events ahead. These different articles are showing forth that the Lord is setting the scene, just like in a story and a setting. The Lord is setting the scene with these different prophecies, man. And it's showing forth that the society is headed towards destruction. What's like you got
Yeah, some more.
Oh, that was all.
All right. Bro, so get this article right here.
All right. This is an article from dailyhodl.com. It says the Daily HODL, Wells Fargo abruptly terminating customers' bank accounts, say attorney generals in 16 states, demanding immediate freeze on lenders' alleged debanking practices.
You can read into it.
Got it.
Let's see. You can read the first two paragraphs.
It says more than a dozen state attorneys generals are accusing banking titan Wells Fargo of abruptly terminating customers' accounts without warning. In a letter addressed to Wells Fargo CEO Charles Scharf, Republican AGs across the country accused the trillion-dollar lender of debanking customers in a political and discriminatory manner.
And then you can read the third paragraph.
All right, it says the AGs say Wells Fargo has started a new trend that looks at clients' political views as a basis for retaining banking access.
Right. So basically, this major bank, Wells Fargo, right, as the article is going into, abruptly, basically meaning suddenly, started terminating some of their customers' bank accounts, okay, all because of their, political views and, certain of their beliefs and whatnot. Okay, if their beliefs and their political views don't align with the agendas that's being forwarded in this country, okay, certain people that were linked to Wells Fargo abruptly had their bank accounts terminated. Okay, and matter of fact, one of y'all brothers get we read it earlier, but Second Genesis 13 and 15 again. Okay.
This is Second Genesis 13 and 15. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream.
It's like Revelation 13 and 15. Salaki,
all right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right, and that's all going to ultimately be fulfilled when Esau pushes his NWO agenda. Okay, that all those who would not worship this NWO system and bow the knee and ultimately take the charagma, that they should be killed. Now, real quick, one of y'all brothers, for that word killed, one of y'all brothers can go into the interlinear and click on the last coordinates, G615. Just to go into that word killed.
This is say kill, right?
Yeah, G615.
All right, and it says the definition of kill kill.
Strong's G 2443.
No, it's,
Hina.
Strong G 615. It's the one underneath it.
Okay. Got it.
Strong's G 615. Apartina. Apartina.
It says to kill in the way. It says to kill in any way, wherever, to destroy, to allow to perish.
Right. Basically going to actual physical, being put to death. All right. Now you can go to the root word.
Let's see. All right. It says of separation.
No, play the concordance
Okay.
first.
Strong's G 575. Apa. Apa.
Con. It says of separation.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It says of local separation after the verbs of motion from a place, i.e., of departing, of fleeing, of separation, of a part from the whole. It says,
You can read down to definition D.
all right.
Stop right there.
It says, where of a whole some part is taken of any kind of separation of one thing from another by which is union or fellowship of the two is destroyed, of a state of separation that is of distance.
Right. So that word "kill" in Revelation 13 verse 15, not only does it go into being actually physically put to death for not bowing the knee and worshiping the NWO system, but as is also going into a separation. Basically, if you don't bow the knee, Esau is going to not allow you to participate in society and not allow you to buy and sell and participate in the NWO. And what the brother went into in that article, Wells Fargo terminating the accounts of certain of their customers based on their political views is basically a prelude to that separation, if you will. Okay, because certain customers had certain political views and certain beliefs that's against the status quo, so to speak. They basically had their bank accounts erased from them. Okay, just like that. All right, and these are the types of unrighteous decrees. Okay, coming forward down the pipe. All right, as Esau is going to crack down more on people who believe in the Bible and people who have certain religious beliefs. Okay, passing particular laws to criminalize people that believe in the Bible and whatnot. Well, guess what? Esau is also going to pass laws for these other major banks. Okay, Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citibank, to also terminate the bank accounts of certain people that have religious beliefs and political beliefs and whatnot. Okay, that's all a part of that word "kill." All right, and that verse had a quick precept.
Yeah, I got a quick one.
Right.
This is Sirach 52, Sirach 51 and 2. For thou art my defender and helper, and has preserved my body from destruction, and from the snare of the slanderous tongue, and from the snare of the slanderous tongue, and from the lips that forge lies, and has been my helper against mine adversaries.
Yeah, hey, so we as the men of the Lord, we know ultimately, because of our beliefs, all right, which is, the rawness of the scriptures, okay, the dirt McNasty of the scriptures, as Apostle Paul likes to say, we know that because of our beliefs in the scriptures, that stuff like that is going to happen to us as well. Our bank accounts are going to be terminated. Okay, we're going to lose our, certain jobs and whatnot, certain things we got going on in the world, all for the word's sake. But guess what? These things ultimately don't shake us up in the spirit because we know that Yahweh Shalom Shai got us. And ultimately, starting with our apostles and elders on down to the least of us, Okay, we prepare our minds more and more every day to detach from this system. Okay, as things are going more and more left, so that when certain things in this world, certain comforts, certain things in this world get taken away from us, hey, we won't be taken by these things. We won't be shook by it because mentally and spiritually, we're already detached from these things any damn way. You know.
Yeah.
Would you answer?
Another quick one. This is Sirach 27 and 22 through 25. He that winketh with the eyes worketh evil, and he that knoweth him will depart from him. When thou art present, he will speak sweetly, and will admire thy words, but at the last he will writ his mouth, and slander thy sayings. I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord will hate him. Whoso casteth a stone on high casteth it on his own head, and a deceitful stroke shall make wounds. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. He that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh. And the scriptures say he frameth mischief by law. All right. So all these works that Esau Edom is sowing through the planet Earth, they're going to come back on his own head. He's only sowing this hate speech bill and the other one SB 5427. He's only putting those things ultimately into law. So all hell is going to break loose, and his kingdom is going to be taken down. It's going to work against him. The scriptures say their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. So this kingdom is divided. You have people that are for these different bills and people that are against them. Even the people that are in the offices of those that are making these different bills, they're against it, man. All right. So you got division amongst all these facets of life. All right. From the bottom to the top of this place, man, it's division, and it's ultimately going to lead on into an implosion of a plethora of things: martial law, FEMA camps, all right, the prophets being taken off of the scene, all right, martyrdom. It comes with a lot of different things, but if we are of that number, we are bidding towards that testimony, ultimately to get that crown of life and get the victory over all this hell, man. Over all those things, all these different articles, all these different snares that are against us, man. And ultimately this system and this beast and this image, man. All right, and the Quran. That was it, brother.
Yeah. One of your verse get the last article. You think it would be wise to go into that article?
Which one is it?
This one.
Not necessarily.
So and we go in the lesson of, all right. And so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. All right, before we close out, we want to give all praise and glory to
Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushua Ba'Shem HaRakadosh.
Double honor to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, Uruwa, as well as Seashwell, and also peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, and until next time, all right, we want to say shalom.
Shalom.
Baba Ba.
Baba Ba.
Kwam Yasha'Allah.
Kwam Yasha'Allah.
Shalom.
Mighty shalom. Until next time. Shalom. You got it, brother. Okay. See. 7